Ho ho ho! Hello again, children.
Hi, Santa.
In this corner, on my nice list, it's egg, it's cheese, it's delicious, mouth-watering sausage, made from the animals put on this earth for the intention of lining my ample stomach. It's the Dunkin' breakfast sandwich.
Yeah,
Yeah, Dunkin'.
fuck yeah.
I
give me
love
that.
breakfast.
And in this corner, on my naughty list, it's egg, it's cheese, it's plants. It's the Dunkin' Beyond Sausage Breakfast Sandwich.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Beyond?
Who's the woke hippie responsible for this crime against man? Why do you think I live at the North Pole? That's right, no plants. Do you think I got this intimidating physique by passing on glistening, oily sausage? If I'm going into an establishment with DD on the front, it's either to eat meat or to get off. We must stand up, people. Rise up. It's time to take back the earth from these delicious animals. Okay, I'm sorry, I got carried away, but you get Santa's point. It's beef versus plant. Right versus wrong. Merry Christmas to all, and to all you tried that.
Well then.
Merry Christmas! You tried that. Nick Novak with my pal, Shan Hancock.
Ho, ho, ho.
Nick Geiger.
Merry Christmas.
Oh, Santa. I don't know if you knew Santa had these extreme views.
Man.
But he's like we said, Santa is a man from a bygone era.
Yeah, and well, you live in the North Pole all by yourself, right? Like your worldview is bound to get a little twisted here and there, right?
Santa took the red pill, it sounds like. That was
Everything he wears all
unsettling. Red. Did Santa just get canceled or what happened?
He's like, I can only take a pill that matches my outfit.
So we're here to celebrate Christmas with Dunkin' sandwiches. And
he said, contempt dripping from his voice.
So, here's an honest story here. I was told, I was talking to Allison, who's been on our podcast many times, about the fact that we're eating these. And she mentioned that something about it only being called Dunkin' now.
Yeah.
Which I guess happened long ago, and I go there so infrequently and paid no attention to it that I didn't even know, and I guess it was 2 years ago, that donuts is no longer part of it anymore.
Yeah, I heard about that because they were trying to de-emphasize the donuts, right? Because you guys remember when we were growing up, they used to like have the commercials about like fresh baking the donuts.
Right, yeah. Time to make the donuts.
Yeah, and then at some point they changed it so that the donuts were all made in like a central facility and then trucked out to the different stores or whatever. And then that obviously like dip in quality, right? So I think they were like, yeah, just come here for coffee and sandwiches now. Our donuts are shit.
Time to make the slightly worse donuts.
Right. Yeah, because I used to love Dunkin' Donuts as a kid, right? But like I hadn't been there in a really long time because they only recently came out here to the West Coast, right? They weren't in California for a while. And it's been years since I've been to one. But I went to this one and I picked up 2 donuts while I was getting the breakfast sandwiches because I'm like, why the fuck not? And they were not great. Like I got a chocolate Long John, which was fine. And then we got a powdered sugar that was inedible. Like we ended up chucking it.
They're terrible. The donuts are awful. And like, I feel like every time I've gone there over the past few years, there's less and less, like I get vanilla Long John a lot, less and less frosting to where I can see the top of the donut now. Like it's so opaque.
Unacceptable.
Yes. So I agree. It is crappy, but I do wonder about if the name is Dunkin', like donuts kind of belongs with that. What else are you dunking?
Balls. But I saw I saw the store I went to today, actually the sign outside still said Dunkin' Donuts. So I guess they haven't updated like all their stuff. So
Geiger, you like Dunkin'?
I don't mind it. I like the coffee. And I like I still like the Boston cream, with the thick cream inside. I will agree though that the chocolate frosting seems to either get more and more diminished, or it will like smudge onto the wrapper on the outside and get all taken off, which I don't like. But I used to go there too often because there was one right across from my work, so I'd get coffee and like a donut or coffee and like a sesame seed bagel, and it's stupid. I shouldn't do that stuff. So they're also really unhealthy for you. So.
But all you got to do is go to like a local donut shop,
Right.
and the quality is 1,000 times better.
Yeah, easy.
So the way you get to Dunkin' Donuts is you drive. Chad, you were recently driving.
Yeah, I had a quick story I want to tell. So we, as of this record, like last week, we went to Yosemite for just sort of like a little vacation. You know, we hadn't been on a vacation in a really long time now, and just kind of wanted something to look forward to. Yosemite was something we could do that was like sort of relatively safe. We stayed in like a private cabin, and like it's all outdoors, hiking and stuff. Basically, interacted with no other humans the whole time we were there. We were staying in this cabin in a town called Wawona, which is a very small town inside Yosemite Park. And to get to actual Yosemite Valley, where all the main like super famous attractions like El Capitan and Half Dome and stuff are, is about a 45-minute drive north along this like super windy mountainous road with like lots of elevation changes, and it's just one lane in each direction the whole way, with just occasional little 100 feet of shoulder here and there if like you need to pull over sometimes, you know. But most of the time it's like, you know, if you're stuck behind like a slow, you know, RV or something, that's it, you're stuck until you get to, you know, till you get to the valley or whatever. So we went there in the morning, and then we were driving back to the cabin in the afternoon one day, and we did it that way because we wanted to time it to where my daughter got her afternoon nap on the car ride back. So put her in the car seat, start driving. She falls asleep for the nap. It's great. So I'm trying to keep like a consistent speed, you know, so that like everybody stays asleep and like I don't like, you know, take the curves too fast, right? Super windy road. My question is, I want to find out if I'm the asshole or if this other driver is the asshole. So somebody kind of, you know, wants to go a little faster. It's a car kind of pulls up behind me. It's a guy driving and his, you know, girlfriend, friend, wife, whatever she is next to him. And they start like tailgating me because I'm obviously not going as fast as they would like through this like windy mountain road. And I can tell they want me to like pull over on one of these occasional shoulders that happens every, you know, couple miles or whatever. But I don't want to do that because if I pull over, maybe people start waking up, right? So I'm going, they start getting like increasingly more agitated, right? I can see this in my rear view mirror. We get to like one of those shoulders and they're like kind of like pointing at it. And they start like getting more and more agitated to the point where they get to the shoulder. They're gesticulating wildly, right? Like waving their arms, like trying to get my attention to pull over. I don't budge. So finally, like it gets to the point where they just give up. I can tell they're just like, all right, we're going to be stuck behind this guy for another 30 minutes. So they stop doing it. We pass a shoulder. They just like, they don't make anything. They kind of back off a little bit. So now you think would be the time like, oh, they're not, you know, they're not mad about it anymore. So like, maybe I should actually like let them pass. No, I waited 2 more shoulders. Then I pulled over and let them pass. So who's the asshole here? What do you think?
Geiger.
Chad, I love you, buddy, but that's a pretty dick move. I mean, look. So did they start off? Like mother effing you and flipping you off, or were they just politely asking you, "Hey, do you mind moving over?"
I think it was like relatively polite at first. Yeah.
Okay. Then you're the asshole because now, like they because there's nothing. I've been stuck behind someone going. It's not like you were doing like 80 and a 75, and they wanted to do 90.
But they wouldn't have gotten there that much faster because there are a lot of turns, and the speed limit on the turns is like 25 or 30. So
sure, be that as it may. They politely asked you several times, and then you made sport of being a dick to them. So I'm not gonna say that you were egregious about it, but I let's say I don't think there's any winners in this situation here.
I don't think you were a jerk until the very end. Like, I think it was them. They were out ahead because the tailgating, and I used to be them where I would be close on people and wanting to get past and trying to get, you know, there what accounted to 60 seconds sooner, you know, in the grand scheme of things. And I've since, like, over the last like 5-10 years, just said very much changed the other way. And I hate people who tailgate. But then at the end, if you just kept driving and never let them pass because you just wanted to do that, then that's you win. But you decided I will let them pass only after I wait a bit longer. So that's a decision that made you lose.
Okay, good. So I win. I was successful.
Yeah.
That's what I
Win
was
for
going
you.
All right, great.
All right. It's the Christmas spirit right there.
Yeah.
My Christmas gift to them was to eventually let them pass. And by then, like a line of like 7 cars had backed up behind them that all sort of like went past me while I was pulled over.
All right, let's get to eating these sandwiches. We heated them up. So we bought them earlier in the day because we record late at night. We bought these many hours ago, refrigerated them, and just heated them up, ready to go. So now they've cooled down a bit more.
That is what I did.
Yeah, mine was in the refrigerator. That's the cold box in the kitchen, right?
Okay, you guys have rotting meat. This stuff's barely meat. I don't even I wonder.
This one of these is not meat. That's the whole point.
One of them's not meat at all. That's true. So I don't know. Does a plant patty that's been cooked like this, does it fare better being left out than the beef one?
I mean, you put vegetables in the fridge, right? It's not like you leave tomatoes just laying on your counter. Or yeah, I guess you could, but it's not.
You pick the one vegetable that actually people do.
Okay, yeah, celery. You put your celery on the counter.
I feel like there's probably enough chemicals and processing involved in making the Beyond Patty that it's probably less like if you had a race for which one's going to mold faster, probably the meat.
So last year we did the Whopper versus the Impossible Whopper, and against all odds, the Impossible Whopper won the day and saved Christmas. And now we're going to see if the same thing will happen with Dunkin. So these are the breakfast sandwiches: sausage, egg, cheese, and we all got English muffin, correct?
Yes.
I got croissant.
Oh, that's a nice move. I should have gone that because I prefer the croissant.
I like croissant.
All right, so we're going to start with the regular.
Yeah, so while you guys bite in, I want you to think about the rating. So we're bringing out a special rating scale here for these mini episodes, just a 3-point scale here. Now, last year, we did, because as Novak mentioned, we did the Whopper versus Impossible Whopper, and our rating was based on the ranking of sort of the general populace ranking of the top 3 fast food chains, right? It was Wendy's, McDonald's, BK at the bottom. So I wanted to do something similar here for donut chains, but there's kind of not really 3 nationwide donut chains, there's a lot of donut chains, right? Like Tim Hortons or Winchell's or whatever, but they're not sort of it's not the same status as Dunkin'. So I had to sort of improvise here. So here's our scale, starting at the bottom in, I think, universally worldwide known as the worst donuts, Krispy Kreme. Our middle level here is Dunkin'. And then Novak mentioned it earlier, top level, the mom and pop donut shop.
Nice.
So that's our rating scheme.
All right.
Support small business.
So when's the last time you guys had one of these?
Probably within a year.
I probably never had a Dunkin' breakfast sandwich ever.
I don't think I have either.
I have definitely had the bacon, egg, and cheese ones. I always prefer bacon over sausage when it comes to breakfast. And I've definitely had the bacon, egg, and cheese one. They used to have one called the Bacon Toasty, which is like Texas toast and stuff. I've had that several times. I always felt like shit after I ate it, but I still ate it.
Now, the issue with these sandwiches for me is not the patty, right?
Too
which
fresh.
We're trying today. It's the egg. This egg is gross. This does seem slightly better than that McDonald's egg, which is really nasty. But there's something about the consistency that's just very off-putting.
I have a hard time with McMuffins because that egg is so stiff. It's that stiff, sheet of egg they put on there is gross to me. This one somehow seems softer and less revolting.
Now, is your guys' Beyond Patty? Mine is significantly smaller than my actual sausage patty.
Correct, mine too.
I think there's a much bigger consistency difference here between these two things than there was comparing the Whopper to the Impossible Whopper.
Yeah.
Which was a little bit different, but here, now I've never had the Beyond Meat before. I've had Impossible Meat a few times, which I think is supposedly more realistic than the Beyond Meat. I think it is generally what people say. But just looking at this Beyond Patty, once I've bitten into it, it looks like a veggie patty.
It does.
Yeah.
And and it tastes like one. It doesn't look like meat in the
Right.
same way that the Impossible.
It has a noticeably different taste. I feel like when we did the
Yeah.
Whoppers, I don't remember as much. I definitely liked the Beyond Whopper better. Yeah, I think it was like slightly saltier, but in general, it wasn't too far off. And I think maybe that's just because there's more on a burger to cover up the taste. This is way different.
For me, it was the smell that turned me off to the Impossible Whopper so much. I noticed it a little here.
Yeah, how do you feel about the smell of this Beyond? Not that the sausage smells that great.
Right. I'm actually smelling both just to see. The sausage doesn't, to me, have much of a smell, and I can smell the Beyond meat just because it's different than what I'm used to. All right, Geiger. This is gonna be a tough one. Let's see. What do you think?
I don't think it's tough for me. Okay, neither one is great. I probably I don't mind the regular. It's not a good breakfast sandwich by any means. It's not fresh. It's processed sausage patty with processed egg, and it's probably 4,000 calories. But if I was on a road trip or something or on the go, I could eat one of these just fine. I would give it is it Dunkin' is the middle one?
Yes.
Krispy Kreme Dunkin' and mom and pop shop, right? I'd give it a as one does. I'd put it right in the middle. I think it's fine. It's an acceptable sandwich. The Beyond Meat tastes gross. I don't like it at all. I will not eat any. I've taken 2 bites and I'm good. It doesn't have the smell's fine. I don't care about the smell. It looks like you said. It looks a little different, but it's not like the sausage one is like a real appealing visual item either. But it tastes like a veggie patty. It's not like I said, you hit on it, Chad. I think with the Impossible Whopper, they added stuff to try to make it have that like salty, savory meat flavor. This just tastes like they stamped a bunch of veggies together. It's not good, and it's got a bad aftertaste. I really don't like it. Like this is below Krispy Kreme. What's below Krispy? What's the worst? Like day old donuts from Jewel. Is that the worst one? Day old donuts bin. This is bad. It's
We
trash.
have a friend who listens semi regularly, and he knows who we're talking about. But he's famous because for years he would talk about what a great deal it was to go get things from the day old bakery section. And donuts that are old at all are awful. They're awful.
I don't even want like our old donuts. Like
Betsy told me to pick up some donuts for the kids when I went and got the sandwich for tomorrow morning. I'm like, no, that's horrible.
I mean, I hate my kids, but not that much.
Before we go to Chad, what do you think of the name differences of Impossible and Beyond? Who's got the advantage there?
Impossible sounds a little cooler, I think. It's like, how are you pulling this off? Whereas Beyond, it's like beyond into like some weird, gross alien territory. I don't know.
You went beyond meat so far that
it's unrecognizable.
The truth is out there. The sandwich is shitty. All right, Chad, what do you think?
I'm wondering, so I picked English muffin because generally these kind of like breakfast sandwich croissants from fast food places are usually really bad. I don't know if there was another bread option or whatever but this English muffin is not good. The egg is also very bad. Both of these sandwiches overall are bad. I think I am going to give them both a Krispy Kreme. I don't want to eat either of them. Now, I am biased against fast food. I've said this before on this podcast. I don't like fast food places in general. I try to avoid fast food. I've barely eaten fast food over the last like decade plus. So these sandwiches are just not for me. But I got to pick one, and the Beyond Meat is trash. It is bad.
Yeah.
It's the consistency is nothing like meat. But beyond that, get it? It's actually
yeah. That was a real stretch. How was I able to connect those? Get it?
But beyond that, it's actually just a very bad consistency in general. Like irrespective of comparing it to meat, it's just not a consistency that I would want to have. The sausage is a little better, not much. So like I said, both Krispy Kremes for these, but I am going to give the edge to sausage. And the problem here, I actually really like a really good sausage patty. Like a high quality sausage patty at a nice brunch place, I would prefer over bacon. but I think at a fast food place you're not going to find that. Certainly not this one.
All right. So I don't like breakfast sandwiches in general. If I'm gonna have breakfast out, I will go to a sit down restaurant and have that breakfast, which I'm happy to have. But I will never get fast food breakfast ever.
Yeah.
I think it's awful. Even anything they make, like even things I would normally like a pancake and those like McDonald's hot cakes are just the most fucking disgusting thing on the planet. They're so disgusting and rubbery. So I would never eat either one of these to begin with. That said, the regular one is significantly better. So even though it is significantly better, they're still both Krispy Kreme because they're both shitty. I couldn't take more than I took a second bite just for the sake of rating of the Beyond Meat, but I couldn't take a bite beyond the first two. Get it? But the regular one, I agree. I actually, when Geiger said I could eat it on a road trip, yeah, like if someone came out and bought it for me, I could finish it. The other one I would violently throw back at them. So the regular sandwich, sausage, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich from Dunkin' defeats the Beyond Meat sandwich. Even though there was a couple tie scores, but we all preferred it. So there you go. That's what you can do with your Christmas.
Stay away from Dunkin'. So I guess asshole Santa is right. Maybe we should all
asshole Santa.
Maybe we all need to move to the North Pole and subscribe to his worldview. I mean, he's onto something here.
I'm a little shocked in that I thought there was somewhat of a decent difference between the first ones too. Like the fact that you guys felt this strongly about this Beyond Meat, but that you preferred the other one is very surprising to me.
Well, but the other difference too, though, is that I think the gap there is closer, right? Like the Whopper, BK is very bad, and the Whopper is very bad, right? So even a bad Impossible Burger is probably not that much different. Versus, well, I mean, I guess I just said this is very bad too, so I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. It all sucks. Everything sucks.
I hate all fast food. Now, this one wasn't as bad. No, I think it's also because I don't know anything about Burger King's worldview, but I know Santa has weighed in on this, and I usually, look, if Santa says it, I go with it, right? All of Santa's particular political affiliations and opinions about things in the news, in the ether, if you will, I'm a big fan of.
Here's a question for you guys. When Santa is doing his run, his Christmas Eve run, and he's delivering all the packages and stuff, and then there's another Santa behind him. How long does Santa wait before he allows the other Santa to pass him? Okay, moving on.
Wow.
I was like, I'll think of something, but there's no other Santa, right? Is there a second character in the Santa-verse?
Grinch.
I think that joke was beyond saving. Get it? See the connection? Did you understand what I meant?
Oh, Geiger, we've got through most of the Christmas episode without you mentioning Good King Wenceslas.
Okay. I swear to God, I was gonna text Novak earlier and say okay, let's put odds on how far, what minute mark does Geiger reference Good King Wenceslas? But then I got wrapped up in other stuff, forgot to text.
Well, look, everyone knows of all the timeless holiday classics, Good King Wenceslas is one of the most famous. Didn't you, as a little kid, run around and just jolly old King Wenceslas on the feast of Stephen? Weren't you just belting it out door to door, caroling? I know I was.
Okay, because you just sang that song 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Don't you remember that hit cover that Mick Jagger did of Good King Wenceslas? Don't you remember that? So if you are Good King Wenceslas and you'd like to reach out, if you know him, if you're a descendant of the greatest king of all, Wenceslas.
Did they serve Beyond Meat at the Feast of Stephen?
If you Wenceslas, if you went to Dunkin', If you have any opinions on Beyond products whatsoever, you can reach out to us at youtrydat@gmail.com. Hashtag youtrydat on Twitter. The You Tried Dat group on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram. And I guess it is Christmas time, clearly. That's when this is airing. So all of you hopefully have a safe and happy holidays. Other than Santa, he's going to be grumbling no matter what. He's probably pretty pissed off about the election.
Asshole Santa.
Asshole Santa. Yeah, fuck Santa and have a Merry Christmas.
Okay, before we go, let's talk stockings. When you come down
Fishnet.
to
Oh.
You come down to downstairs on Christmas Day and you look in your stockings. As a kid, what was kind of the hope? What were you hoping to find, or like a best stocking stuffer? Was it candy, or was it some kind of toy? And what type of candy?
Yeah, but I think it was usually just like a lot of candy and stuff was always what I wanted. And probably leftover Halloween candy, if I'm being honest. I didn't realize it.
Reese's Pumpkins.
Yeah. Oh, my favorite Christmas treat, the Reese's Pumpkin.
All the skeletons of like, oh, that's Santa. He wasted away eating Beyond Meat.
Those are the bones of the elves that he had to eat because he didn't like the Beyond Meat.
This is real meat, elf meat. You guys try that Impossible Elf? It's not the same. Did you guys ever do St. Nick's Day, or were your stockings on Christmas Day?
What is that?
St. Nick's is like the 5th of December, and it's like I don't know, St. Nick is like a Santa tangential type thing. And they just fill your stock. We had our stock.
He's another character in the Santaverse.
Yeah.
I don't think Saint Nick is Santa.
I think he is Santa. I think he just stops by and fills your stocking on the 5th instead of the 25th. So we would get a small toy, some candy, like the Christmas coins, like the things that look like they come in a little like bag, and they're
right.
like fake money. And then we would get an apple and an orange. I don't know why.
What the?
That's fucked.
I'm sorry. Saint Nick in my house was a little boring, but we'd at least get one toy. I'd get like a action figure or a Bucks hat or something.
We'd get a toy like a Bucks hat.
Man, I would walk around playing with that Bucks hat all day.
For some reason, I remember there must have been a year when I told my family I wanted Junior Mints. And then they ran with that. Like, that's the year they decided to run with that for the next decade. Because then every year in my stocking was Junior Mints and Lifesavers. Like, past the point when I think Lifesavers are even being sold in stores. Like, for some reason, somehow they were finding Lifesavers to put in there.
I like Junior Mints. That's not a bad candy to have in your stocking.
Yeah, they're fine. I like the Junior Mint. I just found out that the Feast of Stephen is December 26th.
Oh,
so
you guys coming over we can celebrate Wenceslas.
We can celebrate Wenceslas.
Yeah, we'll have some
said in the most Wisconsin accent.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of some things we could serve.
Elf meat.
Wenceslas sauce. Anyway, who wants to wrap this up? Novak? You want
to wrap it up? Yeah, this has gone long. As soon as I hear Wence's sauce, I'm like, oh, right. I was waiting for that.
Yep, and that's all we needed to get to.
And cue. All right. We are going to be back next week with a New Year's episode, and then it's going to be time for Mount Snackmore 2020. So come listen, and hopefully you have a good holiday, and you and your family are safe. We'll be back next time. We'll be trying out 3 brand new snacks.
Deuces.
Yep.
Wenceslas.